What's going on, everybody? Naughty President here, doing something a little different. Got an extra bonus video for everybody. I'm doing a Pokemon tier ranking list. I'm going to rank all the games that I've played, which is all of them, of course. And I'm going to rank them on the rating I think they deserve. Some people may like my opinion, some people may not. That's alright. That's the fun part of an opinion. So without further ado, let's just get right into the list. So we're going to start off with the OG Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue. Now, Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue is how I started gaming with Pokemon. I mean, it's the original one, and I'm a kid born in 91, so I'm a kid from the 90s. So Pokemon was right in my wheelhouse. That was everything. You can ask my mom. She was tired of me talking about it because I talked about Pokemon non-stop. Well, with Pokemon Red and Blue, yes, they were the best, or they were the original, I mean, but over the years, Pokemon has advanced and progressed, and that's why I think Pokemon, honestly, Red and Blue, it gets about a C tier, honestly, because, like I said, Pokemon Red and Blue is great, but Pokemon Red and Blue also is very dated, so that's why it's at C. Then we move on to Yellow, which is the third game, which you'll see a lot in this series, of course, is the third game in the trilogy of Pokemon. And it's still about a C, but I'm ranking it a little higher than Red and Blue because you got Pikachu, and it was, everybody's favorite Pokemon from the anime. It's just, you got to have Pikachu, and he was OP as shit. It was awesome. So, next game we're moving on to is Gold and Silver. Now, Gold and Silver, spoilers, is my favorite game. It's my favorite generation is Johto. I grew up with that more than with Red and Blue, because Red and Blue was in the very beginning. I was a little young because I think Red and Blue came out in 96, I want to say. So I was about 5, 6. So this was like 2000, Jesus. It's like 97, 99, somewhere around there. I was a little older, so I'm ranking Gold and Silver at an S tier. All right. Yep, and that is purely nostalgia, honestly. That is not gonna lie. Then we got Crystal again with the third game of the generation, and I actually never played Crystal as a kid. I played Crystal as an adult when it came to the 3DS as a virtual console game. So I'm still ranking that S tier because I had a blast with that game. Because it was just basically the definitive edition of the game. Next, we move on with Ruby and Sapphire. Spoilers, I did not play Ruby and Sapphire. So I honestly can't have an opinion that much about Ruby and Sapphire, because I played Emerald. That is the only version of Gen 3 that I played of the original Gen 3. So I'm going to rank them all into one category, because from what I understand, Ruby and Sapphire is just the same as Emerald, except Emerald has bonus stuff. So I'm going to rank Ruby and Sapphire a B tier, with obviously Emerald being in front. And yeah, Ruby and Sapphire, I was a little older, obviously, and like I said, I played Emerald, and I enjoyed Emerald. I thought Emerald was great. It was definitely a fun game, and I have no complaints. I didn't have anything that I didn't like. I do think that the motives for the villains were kind of dumb, like more land, more water. I mean, whatever. It wasn't a very thought out process, but it's a children's game. So you can't really complain about story in a Pokemon game. You're not there for the story. You're there to catch Pokemon. Then we do the remakes of Fire Red and Leaf Green, which I think are much better versions of Red and Blue, and I definitely rank those B. Those are great. I think Emerald was better than these because it was just revisiting Kanto, and I mean, yes, Kanto was great when it first came out, but as you'll see on this list, Kanto, after a while, gets annoying because it's just repeating Kanto over and over and over. But yeah, they were fun. They got the gold and silver mechanics, and or the heart gold and soul silver mechanics, which were great. And we'll get to those games later on. Next, we move on to Diamond and Pearl. With just like Ruby and Sapphire, I did not play Diamond and Pearl. I played Platinum. But I'll tell you right now, from all the stuff I've seen of Diamond and Pearl, I'm putting those D tier. I'm going to get a lot of hate for that. That is okay. Because Gen 4, up until now, which I'll get to later, was my least favorite generation of all Pokemon games. I thought Generation 4 was very boring. They introduced some cool Pokemon, but overall, they were pretty dang boring. That's why Platinum, still D, man. Like, I played through Platinum one time, and that was when I was a kid. And it was, I don't have much to say about Platinum. Platinum was just my least favorite game. That's how it is, man. Next, we got Heart Gold and Soul Silver, which also gets the S tier. But honestly, Heart Gold and Soul Silver gets number one game, because it took everything I loved about Gold and Silver and Crystal, and they just made it better. With Ruby and Sapphire style, not controls, but you know what I mean, like the updated graphics, the updated gameplay, adding all the features of that style of gaming. I just thought it was a lot better game than the original. The original was nostalgia for sure. It's a nostalgia field for sure. But as looking through these when I was much older, the DS versions with the Heart Gold and Soul Silver were just so, like, they were upgraded versions, and they were so good. Next, we move on to my second favorite generation, which is obviously Black and White. Black and White is going A. Black and White is fantastic. Wait, where's... Okay. I just realized Black and White 2 is not on this list. It's weird. Huh. Oh, wait, no, here it is. Never mind. So, yeah, Black and White was amazing. I will say, a lot of people like to complain about Black and White being stuck to just Black and White Pokemon, which, yes, that is annoying, but the Black and White Pokemon, in my opinion, were just so good. They introduced a bunch of, like, honestly, Black and White probably introduced my second favorite generation of Pokemon based on, like, the actual Pokemon themselves. Like, they introduced a bunch of my favorite type of Pokemon. They introduced a bunch of... The story was really good with N, who's in... To be honest, in my opinion, is the best character in Pokemon, story-wise. Like, I love N's character, especially in the second game, which, speaking of the second game, Black and White 2. Black and White 2 is better than the original Black and White, in my opinion, because it just expanded on the original, just like they do with the third game, but this one got its own separate game with a sequel. This was the first time they've actually done a sequel game instead of it just being a third definitive edition like they do with Crystal and Emerald. It was a sequel 2 years later prior to the original story of Black and White, which I thought was awesome. You basically play as a new character, and with the events of everything that happened in the original, having to deal with the backlash of Team Plasma, having to deal with what they did 2 years prior, and just continuing on. And then, of course, the addition to not the national dex, but basically the national dex. They added in most of the Pokemon that weren't in the original Pokedex with Black and White, because obviously that was limited to the original Black and White dex. So they just took the original game and just made it a whole lot better with more story and more details that I just absolutely loved. Next, we move on to X and Y, which, again, is a generation that most people do not like. Most people think that is very low, and I am not one of those people. I think X and Y is awesome. I think X and Y is an A tier, and it's actually above Black and White. Not above Black and White 2. Black and White 2 is better, in my opinion, but X and Y is real close second, or third, technically, because X and Y is my favorite generation of Pokemon. with the Pokemon they introduced. Like Hawlucha, the introduction of fairy typing, the introduction of Megas. Like, Megas were the best thing, in my opinion, that Pokemon has ever done. And I really wish they'd bring them back. They brought them back with the next game that's in the series that I'm about to talk about, and I was really hyped for that. But they never brought them back. They brought them in for Sun and Moon as, like, post-game stuff. But that's about it. But Mega Evolutions, I thought, were such a good addition to Pokemon. And the idea, like, the Pokemon designs of X and Y, like I said, Hawlucha is a good example. There's a bunch more I can't think of off the top of my head because Pokemon knowledge going crazy, but I really loved X and Y. Yeah, the story was kind of meh, but I don't know how to explain it, man. I just think it was a super good game, and I think a lot of it has to do with the introduction to Megas. Then we got Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, which I thought were much, much better than the original games, like by a lot. That's why they're going to be an A tier. They're going to be, let's see, they're going to be right after Black and White, the original Black and White, because they were very, very good. And just like with Black and White 2, it's basically, not Black and White 2, with Heart Gold and Soul Silver, I mean. It's a remake of an older game with tons of new features, and it was the first time that it really showed the depth of what the 3DS could do back in its day with online stuff and being able to trade globally, and it just had a lot of features I loved. I remember getting Omega Ruby, and my first goal was to complete the Dex, and that was the first game that I 100% of the Dex on. I loved Omega Ruby. And then I remember all the GameStop stuff where you had to go to GameStop and get all the exclusive legendaries that you had to get at GameStop. I'd drive up there, super stoked to get my copy. I think that game was great. I thought it was, honestly, I was going to say up until now, it was the best remake of a Pokemon game that was done on the 3DS. Actually, it was the only one that was on, I don't know why I said that, but anyways. It's very, very good, is what I was trying to say. Next is Sun and Moon. And Sun and Moon, very middle of the road. Sun and Moon, I'd put Sun and Moon, probably, I'd put Sun and Moon right below Fire Red and Leaf Green. They're good games. Definitely good games, but I didn't like the totem Pokemon. That was one thing I just couldn't stand, and they got rid of the gyms, which I wasn't a fan of. I was a fan of them trying to do something new, which I always love for Pokemon, is to try something new. But this one just didn't hit its mark, in my opinion. The totem Pokemon were cool in the beginning, but then they just got kind of annoying, and it was just kind of hard to play the game without having to fight the gyms. I don't know. It's just one thing that it was a very middle of the road game, honestly. And then we got Ultra Sun and Moon, which I put second above Sun and Moon, only because, like normal, it took the original game and just added a bunch of shit. So it just took the original game that was pretty good, decently at best, and just made it a little bit better by adding more stuff and more story and more post-game and stuff like that. Ultra Sun and Moon are pretty they can swap out, honestly. They're both very similar in middle-of-the-road games. Let's go Pikachu. Oh, boy. Remember earlier in the video when I said they just love Kanto so much that they can't stop remaking Kanto? And it's really irritating that they just won't get off of they just won't let Kanto go. That's what Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee was. Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee is below the originals. Because it was nice having Pikachu and Eevee as just like in the anime series of being your partner Pokemon and you can dress them up and all that stuff. But that was the end of the gimmick. As long as you have Pikachu and Eevee or Eevee, you win. They're just so powerful that it was broken, honestly. I did like that you could have them follow you. That was really cool. And then the clothing, whatever. That was a gimmick game. That was for very, very casual fans of Pokemon Go, because I couldn't stand the Pokemon Go catching system. I hated the catch and go system, the Pokemon Go system. Because my personal opinions about Pokemon Go is it's a very middle-of-the-road Pokemon game as well. That's not on this list, but hey, that's okay. Pokemon Go, man. Pokemon Go is just not great. It's just okay. It's a big time killer. But I couldn't stand that they brought him into Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu. That was really annoying. Then we got Sword and Shield, which... Sword and Shield... Man, Sword and Shield... I put it right above Let's Go. Because Sword... I'd actually put Shield above Sword, honestly, because... That was the first one I got. I like Zamazenta better than Zacian. Unpopular opinion, but it's not a big deal. Sword and Shield had a lot going for it, but they really dropped the ball. I like the wild area, the whole aspect of the wild area, and then it was just... Once you got to the wild area, and you could fight literally anything there, you leveled up your Pokemon so much, so quickly, because you couldn't turn off the XPL share, and you just got overpowered. And then I'd go to the gym and just immediately kill them because I was already overpowered just walking through the wild area. It's not like I was grinding or anything. It was just the only way to not get XP was to just avoid every Pokemon, and that's not fun for me, man. I don't like it when games are too easy. I don't like them when they're insanely hard, but I don't like too easy games. I don't like the fact that you had to pay for DLC. That sucked. I did it, of course, because Nintendo. I'm a fanboy, but I hated the fact that I had to spend an extra $60 to get both DLCs for both games, $30 a piece. Didn't have to, chose to. I understand that, but it's kind of a slap in the face to make you pay for DLC for a game that should have had the DLC in it. But that's just my opinion. Pokemon designs weak in my opinion. This Sword and Shield was very, and of course the Dynamaxing and the Gigamaxing. I did not like that. Bring back Megas, man. Every year I say, bring freaking back Megas. Then we go to our final game, which is the newest Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Now, not playing the original Diamond Pearl, only playing Platinum, I was like, man, I might not like this game because the things I remember about not liking from the originals, I was afraid was going to, because he's supposed to be, true remakes. So I was like, oh man, I'm not going to like these. Thinking that it's going to be just like that with a slap of paint, new coat of paint on it. And I was very surprised. Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl is great. I think the game is awesome. I was so surprised in how good these games are. That's why I'm giving Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl an A. It's going to be right below X and Y. I think they're great. I'm currently playing Shining Pearl. I have Brilliant Diamond, have not started it yet, but it's fantastic. I'm having a great time with Shining Pearl. I'm utterly surprised. The fact that the little chibi, everybody's complaining about the chibi aesthetics of it, and I love the chibi. I think it's adorable. I think it looks better than the Sword and Shield sprites because I love the chibi. I'm a huge fan of chibi. I mean, look at my logo on my channel. It's a little chibi guy of Naughty President. So I was so happy when everybody started freaking out. Oh, this looks terrible. And then now I think it's hilarious how everybody is raving about how much they love it. But yeah, it's a great game. A great remake. It took everything I didn't like about the game and just made it better. Slow texts, drawn out story. Obviously the story's still the same and all that stuff, but I don't know how to explain it. I think it's just because it's a new coat of paint and the text speed is a lot better and you can do a lot more. And it's easier to raise your Pokemon. I don't know. I think the game is great. So yeah, that is my tier list of all of my Pokemon ratings. If you make sure you hit the subscribe button and like and all that good jazz. And thanks for coming out and watching the video. I just wanted to do a little extra video about me rating my second favorite game series of all time. I've been growing up with Pokemon and that's never going to change. I could be 65 years old and I'll still be playing the new Pokemon as long as it's still making it. So make sure you hit that subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for coming out, and see you later. Bye.